think we are live. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I am so glad, one, to be here. I have been ill for the last few weeks. Well, the last week, really. So it's a bit of a happy thing for me to be here with this incredible group of ladies for what is the premiere episode of Heim, a North Sea Epilogues campaign. I am thrilled to be bringing this game to the channel. When I got my hands on it, oh, you can't see it because it's cut out of frame. I'm sorry. Here it is, beautiful book. I knew that I had to play this with a group of women, and I am so excited to be playing it with all of you. So if you are, one, new to the Dotlight, thank you for being here. Thanks for wanting to tell stories with us and roll some dice. If you haven't already, follow the channel. It's an easy way to support, show your love, and then you know when we go live the next time. Other than that, I'm going to move it along so that you can meet our lovely cast, and they can briefly introduce their characters, which of course we're going to get more of tonight, and then I will talk a little business and we'll tell some stories. So let's actually kick it off. I'm just going to go straight down the line. It's Kelly, you're up. Who are you? And welcome. I'm so glad to have you back.
Well, yes, I have been here before.
Yeah.
And slightly different game. Who am I? Are we saying who am I?
Yeah,
or who's the
you could,
character?
well, preferably both. Tell us who you are and briefly who your character is before we get your morning introduction.
Okay, my name is Kelly. I am the opera geek, so-called because I'm a geek and I sing opera. And I am playing Gudrun, the Skald. To no one's surprise, I chose the Bard class. And I guess I won't describe myself yet.
Yeah, we can get some more. Just that, yeah, that's a nice preview. You are our Skald. I love it. Kika, welcome back.
Hey. I'm Kika. Kika on Twitter. Kika on Twitter. Kikka. I am playing. What's my character's name again? Adis the Seer. And I am excited to play her because I am in a good position to stir up shit, and that is my favorite position to be in.
It's true. It's true. Nice. Somebody that is definitely not new to the channel, and that I clearly play far too many games with, Eris. I'm glad to have you here.
What? Too many games? There's no such thing.
Is there such
Dot.
a thing? I'm just gonna keep
I'm
roping
only
you
in 5 regular games now, thank you.
How are you?
Hi, I'm Eris Savad. I make stuff. I play a lot of RPGs. And tonight I am playing Frigg. She is a tracker. Just a little tidbit about her. She's got an albino fox named BC.
BC the Fox, you're a little familiar. And if you want to know a little more about their characters while we play the game tonight, there's actually a little handy app down below, a little plugin that'll let you look at their characters, their descriptions, and their stats. Moving right along, another person that is definitely not new to this channel that I have actually missed gaming with. We haven't played together in a while. So I'm glad to have you back, Shauna. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm doing good. I'm happy to play with everybody again, and again, this Viking stuff. I'm Shauna, Flanksters. I do art and play games a lot, and I'm playing Disa, the carpenter of the town, and younger sister to Frigg. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. We got a little family action. I'm sure we'll learn a lot more about that coming up. And then the adorable and ever smiling Catherine. I'm so glad to have you here. Not just here, but here in that furry little hood. I wish it was colder in Atlanta for you, because it's hot today.
Yeah, but luckily it's cold in my house right now, so it works out. But yes, my name is Catherine Barsonistas. I run the nerdy food blog, The Gluttonous Geek, and so yes, I also make things. And tonight I'm playing Dagny, the Berserker, or rather the Squirrel Zerker. Hence my lovely coif. Here.
Well, as you can all see at home, This is a quite eclectic group of Norse women that we have acquired. This game is really interesting because it is a rules-light system. And guess what? None of us have played before. So, all of you at home are learning with us. I'm going to do my best job for the first time of introducing you to the system. It is a D20 system for all of you out there that just love to roll a D20. It's the only dice in the game. So one good D20 will do you, and it is a rules-light system, which means we're going to be doing a lot of storytelling, and I'm encouraging and have encouraged my players to be bold in their choices, because we are on a short run of 5 weeks, and there's a lot that's going to need to be accomplished by these 5 women who share a clan. The clan of Heimdall's Wolves. A clan that is not made up of family or blood, but of purpose. It has been a long winter. 9 months, in fact, of some of the coldest and harshest that any of you in your many suns have seen. Your clan has found some harbor from the storm in a valley at the base of a larger mountain range, about 50 miles inland from the coastline. It has been heavy snow and has pretty much barricaded you into this valley where there has been trees, and thanks to the work of some of the trackers in the clan, you've been able to feed yourself, but it has been sparse, and many of the elderly have passed. It beckons a new time for the clan. The young must rise. But something dark awaits at the top of the mountain. A clan that you've only heard of via word of mouth, and the occasional passerby who you know will die in the forest days later. They whisper of a clan called the Grim Ravens, a group of ruthless warriors. They're said to be held up inside the mountain in a large cavern until winter passes, and they can finish their trek down it. It is early morning. For those of you that may have chores and duties to the clan that need to be held before everyone wakes, you may be up now. If your morning duties are not yours, and you partake of evening duties, then maybe you are fast asleep. But either way, it is cold. Ice sticks to everything, and as the dew has settled, it has left you frigid to the bone. And the camera pans in on our seer, to your hut, your tent, your lodging, which I'll let you describe, as you toss in a fever dream. You sweat for the first time in months. You have to toss the furs off of you even in the frigid cold. Kika, tell us what your character looks like as she tosses and turns in this fever dream.
My character is younger, about 24, with hair that is mostly brown, but with some streaks of like slate gray, and it's usually very tightly braided, like it's usually braided a lot, but right now it's loose and sort of messy and curly, and it's mostly just getting in the way as she tosses, and she probably accidentally pulls her own hair as she twists. She's about 24. I said that already, right?
Yeah, about 24, yeah.
She's doesn't really look very strong. She's more like wiry and skinny. Looks almost a bit underfed. She showed up one day from the woods, and she kind of had and before joining the clan, she just walked out of the woods and was adopted into the clan, and she still has that sort of kind of slightly feral sort of touch to how she moves and how she looks. Yeah, I think that mostly describes her. Blue eyes. Her cabin is probably something that was given to her because the previous owner passed away, and it's probably very shabby and utilitarian inside. She probably doesn't let people very close, gets kind of upset if people get into her space. It makes her very nervous and anxious, and so it's mostly her beds, her furs, and a bunch of various herbs and things hanging to dry inside.
So as you pry your hair away from your sticky forehead, your blue eyes open for a moment as your back arches in utter pain. There seems to be a vision coming on. You've had them before, but this one is visceral. Your mouth goes dry, your eyes roll in the back of your head, and as you seize on your bed, you have a vision of the passing of time. The sun and moon cycle very quickly in a dizzying, nauseating manner as you overlook the valley, and the snow slowly melts away over the trees. As it does, there's a pain in your chest of rage and hatred. It looms over the mountain, and you see it as it sweeps over in a massive shadow, and everything that it leaves behind it is destruction. The trees rot away in an instant, and all that is left is a barren valley. And as you manage to catch your breath and knock yourself out of this vision, you know that a sign of new spring has been given to you, and that the snow will begin to melt. The camera pans out of your tent as you simmer in the moment, out to the forest, the one that we saw engulfed in a dark presence, to a tree. In this massive tree, bundled and nestled in, is a hut. Well, what some people might consider a hut, but to one person in particular, it's considered a home. And it pans in over Dagny. Dagny, it is early morning. Are you asleep? Or are you bustling about your morning?
Dagny has already woken up, though she is covered in basically a bundle of furs at the moment because it's cold.
Yeah.
So she is already going about her business, making breakfast. So she's already got a bunch of acorns that she's got left over from the store that she's just kind of pounding into flour, and getting increasingly angrier as she's doing so because it's not pulverizing as quickly enough. So she just kind of goes into a squirrel rage, goes, "Ah!" just starts pounding.
You hear a couple
harder.
squirrels in the nest itself that kind of rustle with the noise in a morning wake as they too away. It seems to be almost like the birds outside probably goof off in a little bit of a berserker morning rage. Yeah, what do you look like? And do you carry a weapon? I have to know this.
Okay. So, Dagny, currently still bundled under a bunch of, like I said, mound of furs. Yes, has this longish red-brown hair that's kind of set into kind of braids and just kind of close to her head and a little bit of a squirrel tail hanging down from the bottom. Not a mullet. Not a mullet. No. She has some, not much, but some taste.
Yeah. Mullets are so 2 winters ago.
Yes. And she has this slender face with high cheekbones and Degas runes tattooed underneath each wide eye, the color of a new green acorn. Her lips are rather full, and it would seem so considering that she is still, I want to say, late teens, early 20s, kind of in that transition age. But her mouth happens to frame a rather dignified set of buck teeth. So after she's kind of given up making flour from the acorns, because at the moment she discovered that there's not much meat left in those things, and she kind of got a little bit annoyed, just kind of grumbling and cursing. Just, oh my god, got into my stores again. Oh my god. Gods, Fritosker. I mean, whatever. She just kind of takes some dried herbs from the shelf and just starts chewing on them. And hoping that she can find some lefse just in the larder that the squirrels haven't gotten into. She kind of rolls it up around some herbs and just kind of starts gnawing on it. But of course, food's kind of coming out of her face because...
Yeah.
It's like, whole running, jumping, climbing up trees, putting on woad while you're up there.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
And...
it's like, oh, well, I guess I probably should get hunting. So she just kind of flings off the furs. She's got clothes.
Her morning furs. I love it.
Her morning furs. Her kind of green and brown homestead tunic that she kind of puts on her harness, like her kind of leather hide cloak harness with a giant fur hood. And sewn to the hood are these 2 giant squirrel ears made out of squirrel pelts because she's resourceful. And she then picks up her 2 pickaxes that look kind of like little butterfly pickaxes, sets them on her back, and climbs down from the tree.
And we see the camera as it captures this incredible, ancient tree in the middle of this frigid white forest. As we watch you climb down this tree with I'm not even gonna make you roll, this is your tree, with expert precision to the ground, as all we hear is the crunch of heavy feet off into the forest for a morning hunt. And as the camera pans back to the village proper, we see that the centralized fire is being lit. It has already begun. The duties of the younger members of the clan. They are to be up before the elders, and the least they can do is bring light to the tribe. So, as the fire is being lit, you can see that things are beginning to stir. Who's next up? Who would be up by daylight out of the last 3 of you? Because I just don't know.
I would have already been in the woods.
Okay. Yeah, Frigg would have been up. Okay. Okay. What about our carpenter? Because I know our skald is...
Oh, yeah, these has been up since the break of dawn. Yep.
Yep, to getting things together. So the camera pans over to the fire having been lit, which now serves to purpose everything. From blacksmithing to burning out trees, to cooking and cleaning, as everybody comes and takes from it. The ever-burning light, the only thing that's really kept you all alive through the last 9 months. And we see Diza. Diza, did I get that right? Disa. Great. I want to make sure I get it right. Disa. We see Disa as you walk over to the fire to get fire for a hearth. Tell us, what do you look like and where do you work?
Disa's, she's young. She's probably around like 18, 19, still kind of like baby-faced, but she's kind of tall, and because she works with her hands and has to like climb, she's fairly well built. She has kind of like light blonde hair that's just tied back as far as she, just haphazardly to keep it out of her way.
Right, yeah.
She has her, even though it's cold, has her tunic like rolled up, has a leather apron on, getting ready to probably go and fix some of the roofs. That's probably what's her next.
Not a bad plan. Snow's heavy, and wooden roofs, which you have plenty of wood. The resources here have been plenty. Yeah, you walk over, you get it, and you come back to your workshop and begin fixing the roofs. There's one in particular that collapsed in last week that has not been taken care of, at least not yet. And it looks like the snow might have melted enough. You can begin to see the wood grain around the edging from underneath this kind of collapsed area. You may be able to knock most of it off now that it is not stuck icy cold to it. You've not seen the snow melt in a while. And as the hammer pans again around the village, we come across our sleeping Skald. Where do you reside, Gudrun?
She's couch surfing at the moment. She doesn't exactly have a home because she's only here because she got stuck here after visiting right before winter hit. Very ill-planned adventure.
Or perfectly planned. Because you did die in the woods.
I did not die in the woods. So she would probably have taken up in one of the abandoned homes after Disa had fixed it. But she would definitely be hearing the noises of the village and pulling the cloak up over her head just as far as she can to try and block out any light that might be coming through gaps in the walls, because she hasn't upkept this house. She just moved into wherever had a roof. And as she's pulling the cloak up over her face, her hand is groping blindly for wherever her jug is that she left the night before next to the bed with her meat in it.
It would not be far, then.
It would not be far.
Not very
it
far.
It would be very close.
It meets your hand with grace.
It meets my hand with grace, and very soon it meets, her drinking it as much as she
your
can.
Your horizontal lips.
under the cloak, and then she just, puts it back down.
Yep.
Turns back over towards the wall. Shoves her rolled up cloak over her ears, trying to block out whatever sound she can.
And we see this moment, this very intimate moment that Gudrun has with this jug, as it pans across and you roll back over, I'm guessing to sleep. It's far too early, and everything is still covered in that damp morning cold.
Mm-hmm. And to her utter dismay, she has woken up still in this village.
Yes,
and it is not a dream.
You're exactly where you were yesterday. Your nightmare.
Which is very disappointing. And oddly enough, she seems to be missing some of her herbs from her pouch.
Oh, yeah, you even search for those, eyes still closed. It's a little lighter than you remember. As the camera again pans across and out over the forest, as we see the tiny figure of Dagny crunch, 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 and we come upon Frigg, who has already been out here. Probably one of the earliest to rise, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably already have one rabbit hooked to my belt and a pouch full of very questionable herbs, but wipe a little frost off. They're fine.
Yeah. Those are just for you, though.
Maybe.
And you, what do you look like? You said you're blonde. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Light blonde hair, makeup much as my own, with dark charcoal across her eyes to help with the glare of the snow all around her. She hunts with a white fox. As she goes through, she keeps low and careful footing over everything as to not scare her prey. Bow ready to go.
And as you stalk through the snow, all you've heard all morning are your own footsteps through the crunch of what is mostly ice at this point. You
With
hear
the occasional yip of
yeah,
Casey.
yeah, of course. Well, silent, no doubt, that white fox through the snow, almost standing on top of it. But you pause for a moment and think you hear another set of feet. Heavier than yours.
I put my back to a tree and start scanning that direction to see if I see anybody.
You kind of pan around, and sure enough, your eyes are good enough to see. Up walks the largest squirrel you've ever seen. The fur probably coming up over a hill first, ears, fur, and there, of course, is Dagny, coming to join you.
I relax my bow. Good morning, Dagny.
Morning, Freg. Find anything good yet? I see you got a bunny.
Just one rabbit so far. I was tracking a doe, but there was such a sound that just scared her away.
Really?
I wonder what it could have been.
Yeah, I wonder what it could have been too. I mean, I haven't really heard anything other than, well, that doe probably a bit earlier, but yeah, so the squirrels got in my acorns again. See anything good along the trail?
Well, there was a pine tree back there that had a few cones dropped.
Huh.
Not quite acorns, but...
Well, I mean, I guess I could try to make those into flour. I mean, bark bread, so, it tastes okay, but... Need any help? I mean, I can draft things. Kind of.
Sure. How about you keep walking up this trail a little bit, and I'll circle around so that you chase anything past me.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And
we're gonna have our first roll. This is a challenge. You're hunting, but you're doing it together. Oh, do we lose somebody? Oh, we're back. Okay, good. I'll rearrange cameras, no worries. I was like, no, we lost somebody. So as long as cameras are there. So this will be your first challenge. This is how it works here in this game, in North Sea Epilogues. So I, as the GM, we're going to call a range of how hard it is. So what is your goal? You're trying to catch a deer?
Yes.
Deer specifically. Okay. I'm going to say this is a difficult task. One, because there aren't many of them. Especially in the cold weather right now. You have hunted a lot in this valley over the last 9 months. And at this point, they're aware of you, which means they're also becoming better prey. Like they're learning, if that makes sense, to some degree. So I'm going to say this is a difficult task. That means you need to roll somewhere between a 10 and a 14. But I also get to call something else. You have to be able to do that twice. So I will take a roll from each of you. You both have to succeed to successfully complete this plan of like drawing the doe around and shooting it. So what I want the two of you to do is tell me what skill you're going to use for your hunting.
I'm going to use ranged.
Okay.
For my bow shot.
Cool.
Do we already see this deer?
I would say that you have a general idea of where it is. So if you go that direction, you're going to probably come across it. I'm going to go ahead and just give you that since you spotted it earlier.
Okay. I'm going to use, I guess, my athletics to... Or maybe agility. Either way, it's the same stats. To, I guess, run as, like, towards the deer and try to do a big circle around to try to bring her in.
A deer's fast too, so you got to be able to like actually run it. So yeah, I'll take that. That's good. So each of you are going to take those, depending on how you do. Now, what's cool about this game is I've set a range of 10 to 14. You're going to roll a d20 and add however many are in the skill you just told me, however many tabs that you have filled in, 3, 4, whatever your total number is. You can try to drop it from difficult to a moderate task by spending grit. By saying, I'm going to spend a grit, and I want to lower it by 1. As your grit goes up, it becomes more difficult to do things, and when you hit your grit threshold, you can begin to take damage if you try to do certain things. But if you both think you can roll it, and add your modifiers, and make the 10 to 14 range, then roll a d20 and add your modifiers and tell me what you get.
Okay.
For those of you at home, I'm going to rearrange cameras 1 and 2. I've told them they can roll IRL dice, so some of them may be rolling real dice at home, because, like, who doesn't want to do that?
Okay, so I got a 12.
Cool. Okay, you made it. Great. Wonderful.
There we go. Yes!
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
I crit.
So first off, no problem.
I wanted that deer
I was about
really
to say,
badly.
no problem in doing this. I'm going to rearrange cams, too, while I talk. Okay, so you run around, no problem, as fast as you can. You see it, and you begin trailing it. And like a skilled athletic runner, even in the snow and with all of your fur, boots and everything, you are fast on its heels. You know exactly how to cut it off to make it turn and start running back towards Frigg. Frigg, you are set up and ready to go. One arrow knocked. You know if all goes well, it's going to come right up this line of trees and you will be able to shoot it. Now, I called for it to be a 10 to 14. You rolled a 25. That's 10 points over which it doesn't even have on the outcome scale. So, you haven't taken any grit, but you are going to be able to, I think you start with 2. You can drop it down and zero it out. So, your threshold is 4. Now you can zero it out. You have more grit to be able to spend throughout the game because you get a +2. That's crazy. Okay. And this arrow straight into this doe. It hits with a hard thud as the body of the doe drops to the ground and you hear it hit the cold ice. Your lovely little fox takes off, going, of course, to do what it does best, which is track, to let you know exactly where it is. And you hear a small yip yip just a few hundred yards away as it yips at you.
I will give a little click, which I cannot do personally. Give a little click in response and head towards the thing to get my deer.
Yeah. Yeah, and you walk over. The two of you meet almost simultaneously. Your plan was absolutely flawless.
Does it look a little thin to you?
Oh, yes, they're all thin now.
Well, I mean, at least we can make some good jerky from it or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, should...
I can carry it if you want.
Sounds good. Here, let's hold please, and I will cut the tongue out and give it to BC as a treat.
Very willingly accepts this tasty morsel that is probably warm still. As the three of you trail off back towards camp, and the camera pans out and over and beats you there. As all of you gather, come out, maybe you don't, something strange happens. Your Jarl exits their tent, which is what they have chosen to stay in all winter to provide better housing and shelter for the elderly. They emerge, furs and all. She is a tall and broad-shouldered woman. She looks tired today. Her young face drags with age that she does not deserve to carry. And she walks over to a horn that is mounted upon a stand. And she simply gives it a small blow. This horn has not been blown all winter. And as it rings out, juddering even some of the snow off of the trees, it wakes everyone that is not already awake. You all hear it, even Frigg, even Dagny. And you know that this is the call of a town hall, a meeting. The Jarl requests the community's presence.
That can't be good.
We'll drop this off. Go see what they want.
I'm working.
Yeah. Wonder if they got any cider out. Ooh, I really could go for some hot cider. Or mead?
It's
What?
a little early for mead for me.
It's never too early for mead. I mean, it's like, you know it's supposed to give us energy, right? I mean, it does you good. It goes straight to your bloodstream. I mean, doesn't even give you a hangover. Great stuff. A lot better than bark beer. I know from experience.
It's true. Bark beer's nasty.
I'll have to take your word for it.
And pine cone beer also doesn't work.
Nobody wants that.
No.
Funny. As the two of you pick up pace, you enter the village proper as Chelsea finishes fixing cams, and everybody is kind of beginning to gather around the fire itself.
I would assume she would have taken one of the outlying huts. The door kind of slams open. And since I forgot to describe the character earlier.
Oh no! Yes, please tell us what they look like.
I will.
Oh, this is perfect. You were covered, you were drinking.
I was. So you see a quite tall woman. Kind of medium build. Not heavy, not thin by any means, because she does like her meat and she does like her food. She has auburn hair that's like half twisted up in braids and half down and messy, and she's got like blue and silver and green beads all strung through it. Her eyes are a little weird. You can't quite tell if they're blue or green. Depends on which way you look at them. She always has a tendency to look like she's smirking at you, and wears quite hefty eye makeup and darker face makeup, which she has picked up on her travels because she has only recently returned to the village after traveling abroad. On her throat are the runes for Ansus and Kenaz going down her throat. And she kind of has this air of, if you don't know her very well, like she does not care about a single thing you are saying. And so she comes out with the jug in one hand and the cloak wrapped around her with the other, and just this look of, what the absolute heck?
Not a sound you've even heard. With a grand entrance and the shuddering of a door as it slings open, the clan gathers to say. The elderly are helped to logs and a few small seats that sit around this fire for evening gathering, and the Jarl steps out once again from their tent, which they entered after simply blowing the horn, and they grabbed their sword. The sword that their mother carried, the first Jarl of this clan. It has not been seen since they were laid to rest about 6 months ago. And as the daughter of the Jarl and a brave and rather bold warrior, they actually slide it onto their belt in front of everyone and latch it. And their rugged, cold, and rather cracked hand wraps around the hilt as you see her take a very, very deep breath. This is, of course, a moment where she looks at all of you. She takes every person in the clan in one at a time. And before she ever opens her mouth, she nods and bows to the elders. I did not sleep last night. I was troubled I do not know why, and I have no answers. But when I awoke, I felt a dire need to bring us all together. I feel as if I owe you all some apology. For I have spent the winter kept in a tent. I believe that new spring is upon us. I look, of course, to our seer to confirm. But this morning, the snow crunched a little less under my feet. If this is true, then it is my duty to tell you all that our clan is in danger. My time in my tent this winter has not been spent in vain. For I prayed. I plotted. And I wept for the truth. Which is that in that mountain lies the Grim Ravens. A myth, I thought. But it is confirmed that they are gathering in number, in strength, and in weaponry. Their purpose is not to befriend us, to merge clans, or to find some beneficial political or trade route. Their purpose is to destroy. I have decided that the clan is leaving the valley. All of us. I am calling upon 5 of what is left of our clan to trudge westward to the coast, clearing a path for all of us. I will leave it until tomorrow's sunrise for you to decide who amongst the clan will take on this task. Until then, I will sit by this fire and I will answer any question that any clansman has of me. And she steps over a massive log and sits next to one of the elderly on the edge. You can see she has to adjust this massive sword to be able to sit down.
When walking back up to town, I would have found Dagny in the square, or in the area. I have to go. You know that, right?
I do. There's too much destruction coming down this way. I can't balance it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to balance it with here. And that makes me feel like I'm going to fail Vertosker if I don't. I think he'd want me to go as well.
You're a good hunting partner.
Likewise, sister.
Have you seen
So-
Disa anywhere? I don't see her.
I was going to ask her to fix the roof on my tree, but it's kind of pointless now, I guess.
There
So,
she is. There she is.
right.
I make my way around.
I'm gonna follow. She does nothing else to do.
I was going to say, people are beginning to mingle, and they realize and dissipate and go back to their duties. A few of the elders just sit in silence at the fire. It's warm.
Disa?
Oh, hey. Hey, how's it going? She looks really, like, nervous, like this. I suppose we're gonna have to take down some of this. I don't know if we're taking... How much of this we're gonna take with us?
I imagine at least anything we can salvage is going. You realize I'm gonna have to leave, right?
But... You're not going, are you, with that?
Sister, I made it back 6 months into winter. If anyone can go out there, it's me.
But you've only been here for a few months.
Winter is long. So are the nights, but... Dagny will be with me.
Hello.
There's like a
You're
shadow.
so worried, you can come too.
I mean, I'm really good at, breaking stuff. You're really good at fixing stuff. You should come too.
My airs aren't half as good as yours.
She goes white at that suggestion. Like, I don't think I can go. I think they're gonna need me over here, and I've never been out of the town. I don't know what good I'm gonna be out there. Are you gonna have? Am I gonna fix a ship out there? What am I gonna do?
I clasp your shoulders with my hands and I say, "But sister, you'll fix me when I'm broken."
Are you near the Jarl having this conversation?
Guess wherever Disa was standing.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're nearby. The Jarl doesn't look at you. They don't take their hands away from the fire. But you simply hear Jarl Dala, which is her name. You hear her say, well, considering the fact that our clan is going to set sail, someone will have to build a boat once the group reaches the shoreline.
I'm sure I can do it. I've built several. This will be the first, I think, I've done heading it, so...
I mean, I can climb things, if
Mhm.
you need help with, maybe lifting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone can do it, it's you.
Oh, thanks. If you really need me, I'll do it. The clan needs this.
I put my hands on your face and give your forehead a kiss.
Gudrun walks by this scene and gestures at them happily with her jug. And she was like, "Squirrel girl."
Maid! Oh, wait. Hi, Gundren.
Fox lady. Then, person that's maybe built a boat before. It's going to go very well for you. I wish you the best. And she starts walking back towards her house.
You hear the Jarl say, so you're staying with us? Here, in the valley? We love your company, Gudrun. Your stories and tales by the fire. Mead only makes you more charismatic.
If I leave here, I'm not going to be going sailing with these people.
That is your prerogative.
Besides, they'll be fine. That one can chew acorns, and the other one shoots arrows.
And the other one builds boats. Sounds like a tale to be told. If I have ever heard one.
Tell me
Oscar
when
also
someone writes
cheated.
it. And she starts walking towards her hut.
But who else would tell if Ross Rataska's Squirrely Wrath? I mean,
I don't tell children stories. And she takes a big drink and walks past, forgive me, Kika, what's your seer's name?
Edis.
Edis. Walks past Edis and just kind of gives her a little, and keeps walking.
Edis, did you join the group? I'm interested. Did you watch the calling, or the town hall?
It was Edis's intention to see the Jarl immediately after receiving the vision.
Perfect. So you've already seen the Jarl, maybe even what sparked the calling of the town hall. The Jarl, again, doesn't look away from the fire, entranced in some deep thought, but they do put their hand out and kind of gesture for you to join them after the Skald saunters past.
Edis quietly walks over, pulling her wolfskin cloak sort of a bit tighter around her. She's feeling a bit vulnerable being around more people than usual, but she sits next to the Jarl.
I would say Frigg, Diza, and Dagny, you all see this. Kind of the come and join the Jarl, and the Jarl turns from the fire for the first time and says, "Thank you for coming to me first."
Who else would I go to?
As well as the seer, you have a prerogative to not share your visions at all. A gift from the gods is, well, it is yours to share.
I believe that in this case I was merely a messenger.
Then it is a good thing you are in our clan. I hope you choose to go. Or one of the 5. The others, whoever they are, could use a help, a gift from the gods, you might say.
I understand, but honestly, I fear what might happen here were I to leave.
I fear this is everyone's fear, but our clan is, kind of looks around, young, strong. We are light in number, but not in heart. And I could not bring myself to announce it to the clan today, but we will carry only what you can carry on your person. I believe if the grim ravens look down from the mountain as the snow melts and sees that our village is gone, it will be suspicious. We leave it. Which means we are simply biding time for whoever it is to ensure that we can get to and fro without too many problems. Who knows, maybe there's a friendly clan along the way.
Edis will lean closer and, sort of scoot a bit closer to the Jarl and say softly, "But will you be okay?"
There's a slight moment where you see the Jarl's hand, which was upon the hilt of their sword, release and slowly slide across the log and simply touch fingertips with yours. She says, "It is my job to always be okay. we will only be able to make it if the brave five make it to the shore. How much time do you think we have? Your vision.
Not nearly as much as we need, I fear.
You could, if you wanted, make a roll here to recall how many suns and moons you think you saw pass in the vision.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Yes.
again, I'll set a difficulty for this. Not too hard. I mean, it was your vision. So again, I think this is, I don't know, it passed kind of quickly. This is going to be a higher roll. This will be a daunting task, which is a 15 to a 19. Again, you can always use grit to drop that down. Or you can try to pick a skill that has a lot of support for that, or a lot of addition to your d20. So you tell me, what do you want to use to try to call this back? I think, isn't there like a will-based one? I believe a will skill. Let me pull up this beautiful character sheet.
Insight?
That would work. Yeah, this is a mind. This would be, oh no, okay. Will. Insight, yeah. If that's a skill that you have, I would definitely take that.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's
we'll take
where my
insight.
specialty is in.
Perfect. Even better. Alright, so roll that d20, add those benefits. Let's see if you can pull it back.
Yeah, and I think it fits because going back through visions is kind of more cerebral than like...
Yeah, I would think so. You literally kind of have to close your eyes and replay it like a memory.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, real die roll.
Yep. Oh, this is my specialty, so I roll twice, right?
Correct.
Okay, first roll is a 15.
Ooh, take her higher.
And second one is 21.
Wow, total? 21 total?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, so you did go 2 over the 19 mark, which was the highest end. So you will get, again, your grit will drop down 1 so that you can take more. You're basically going away from your threshold number. Hopefully I have that right. That's how I got it from the book anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you can spend more grit. If, for example, you didn't do so well, you would have taken strain from trying to recall this using your insight. But you recall, it looks like there's roughly about 3 months. 3 months worth of suns and moons passed for you. You recognize that would be enough time for 5 people to make it on foot to the coastline. Though your clan would have to move to kind of trail you and make it as well. They'd have to come 2 months after, a month after, something like that. They would come midway through that transition. It will only take 2 months for the snow to melt in entirety. The clan just has to stay ahead of the Grim Ravens.
Adis leans a bit closer, and as she does, she sort of chances, like, sliding her hand on top of the Arl's for a moment, and whispers, 3 months.
Then,
You'd have to follow not long after us.
then a month and a half it is. We will leave in a month and a half. The others of you will leave by the end of the week.
I didn't say I was going yet.
He says, again, all I can do is hope that the fate of the gods are on the side of the 5 that choose to leave. Speaking of the fate of the gods, if all of you want to offer fate of the gods to this cast of lovely and incredible people, you can give bits and tips. And when you do, it fills that bar up there. And I will either gift or, depending on the situation, potentially not gift fate from the gods. And the Jarl stands. A slight brush of the fingertips. A simple nod of a very deep and long-lasting relationship. As the Jarl begins to kind of walk the circumference of the fire, touching and kind of stopping with some of the elders that still remain A small handful. And I would say Frigg, Disa, and Dagny, unless you left, you would have kind of witnessed this, a very close conversation, though not necessarily odd, if that makes sense. It was just a very private conversation, as the Jarl is now going around.
What do you think that meant? Is that good or is it bad?
Adis, you can see her just like stand up and turn and like stiffly walk over to the three of you and just sort of like stand there awkwardly.
Hi.
Dear.
Good morning.
You were, did I hear you correctly that you said you were going to go?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So?
You coming as well?
My Jarl bid me accompany you, so...
Our company
Well,
the better for it then.
I mean, if the Jarl asked you to do it, then you must really be worthy.
Having
To
blessing
come.
of the gods. It's good.
Well,
Right.
the gods will give favor where they will.
So, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a bit thirsty. I mean, especially after running after a deer this morning. So, how about we go get some mead? Or some hot cider? I mean,
I have a deer to take care of, but I will join you later.
Oh, yes, I think I need both. I think I need both of them.
woman after my own heart.
There is a stack of a few kegs left of mead that kind of sit off to the side. If you would like hot cider,
Two kegs left of mead.
yeah, after
The
9
third
months.
has mysteriously disappeared.
There's also a missing
Mysteriously.
scald and a missing keg. These things are not related.
Missing. With bunny rabbit ears.
Yeah. And if you want hot things, there is, of course, kind of like a mess station where there are some of the younger girls are currently actually being trained by this kind of hefty set lady who's just like stirring soup and some things in a pot, and she's kind of like shaking a dirty spoon at them as she teaches them the things. But she would have the hot cider or some kind of hot drink if you wanted it.
I see
My
soup.
bird friend. I need to pick up food for my bird friend.
You do need to pick up food for Birdfriend, which this deer that you see Frigg dragging over to the rack to string up is a possibility, but you could also go grab some of the cured salted stuff from her.
But bird friend would love an eyeball.
Fresh. There's one person to ask for that.
Yeah, Adis just sort of like nods a little bit to Dagny and Disa and then just like stiffly like walks towards Frigg. And just like walks.
She doesn't say much, does she?
No, not really. But sometimes you don't have to.
True.
Sometimes people say I should talk less, but you know.
Well, I mean, it's not like you really have to hide from anything in the village. I mean, right. I see soup. And Dagny is just going to try to kind of first to test whether the soup is free. And still go for the soup if it isn't. She's hungry. Squirrel girl is hungry.
Squirrel Girl's
So-
hungry. So what, do you all hover as Frigg skins this deer?
She's gonna go after the pot. Like I said,
The pot.
Does the pot? Is it only being like prepared for others, or
It will be
is
prepared for the large evening meal. That's what they're currently like doing. But you know that you can go over and talk your way into, like I said, some salted type maybe some jerky. You might get your hands on a couple fresh, small things, but, you know, there's hot cider. Basically, there's like hot mead that she just has in like another pot, which is what most everybody drinks during the day to suffice till the evening meal.
So Dagny's just gonna scramble up to the lady with hot cider and just make the cutest face she could possibly do so.
You come up smiling, all teeth, no doubt. And this kind of a stout woman looks at all of them. Thank you for that subscription. Looks at all of them and swings the spoon around like a massive, like a sharp weapon. Her tool of use. And she slings things, and she says as she walks up, she sees, now see, this is why we get up early and heat the mead, because if we don't. Then she points a spoon and it slings a small stick of something from the soup pot just to your face. It's kind of warm, Dagny. It's good. It's kind of salty.
She just kind of grabs her horn, like scoops up a thing of, scoops up a horn full of soup, and then just runs.
And then she says, "It's not done yet." And then she turns around, and looks at all of the younglings here that are learning to cook, and she says, "And this is why you always put the lid back on the pot." As she clamps it closed, as we see Dagny bolt across the the screen. But our camera actually pans around a corner, and the mayhem, we hear the skinning of a deer around the corner, but it's the small pitter-patter of feet. Couple of them come crunching through the snow. And there is not even a knock on the door, as much as there is spying around the door. Good run. You feel tiny eyes on you as you drink by yourself.
I mean, is there any other way?
There's
I drink when I'm happy and I drink when I'm sad.
Yeah, so there's like a little, but there are, you know that feeling of eyes on you, and this is not the feeling of eyes on you while you perform. These are spying eyes, prying eyes.
What do you want?
There's like a little gasp.
You're not actually the sneakiest person I've ever dealt with.
I told you! You hear one kid kind of smack another kid, as the two twins, as they're known in the clan, step up. A boy and a girl. Bright red hair, cute little round faces. They can't be more than about, they might have seen 8 seasons, or 8 years, I'm sorry, and this is by far the coldest winter they've had to go through, and their little faces are red, and they kind of stand there shoulder to shoulder, and the little boy goes, are you gonna go?
Why?
Well, because you tell stories.
I do tell stories.
Little girl goes, yeah, you tell the best stories.
I do tell the best stories.
If you don't go, then who's gonna tell their story?
Friend, anybody can tell a story.
Really?
Sure.
Can I tell a
You just have
story?
to have imagination. Of course you can tell a story.
Oh. And the kid kind of like freezes in the moment of actually needing to tell a story.
Improvisation comes with time.
Uh-huh.
With time. And travel. You know, when you get out of this valley, you learn that the world is much bigger. Many stories to tell.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the valley and I'm gonna go fight. Did you fight
so
a
the
lot?
kid's coming with us.
Yeah, this kid is definitely coming with us. Yeah.
I mean,
want
if you're not coming, then kid's coming.
I've never seen anything but this stupid valley.
It is a very stupid valley.
So stupid.
Very stupid. You've got many great words. You'll go far.
The boy kind of smiles. He definitely blushes, for sure. And his sister goes, but if you don't like it here, you're a fully grown skald. You can go anytime you want.
Have you looked outside?
But new spring's coming.
And when new spring comes, I will be gone. But I don't relish freezing to death in the middle of the forest when I can sit here and tell stories for alcohol.
Oh,
Which, to be fair, is what I would be doing if I wasn't here, too, just in far more interesting climates.
I heard one of the elders say we've only got enough mead for another 2 weeks.
You don't all need to drink mead.
I don't drink mead. He snuck some mead one time. He goes, you weren't supposed to tell! You're not going to tell anybody, are you?
What?
About the mead?
What?
I mean, no, I didn't steal the mead.
I mean, 2 weeks?
Well,
Wait.
yeah, that's...
Wait. 2 weeks for normal people?
Well, for the clan as a whole.
So 1 week.
Okay. Kid kind of like shrugs like,
She just starts grabbing her,
oh no.
stuffing it into bags, and muttering to herself.
You are gonna go.
The power of alcohol compels me.
I don't get that.
You'll get
It's
it
not
one
the
day.
gods that compel you?
How old are you?
Well, I've seen 4, 16, 24 seasons?
24 seasons.
24 seasons, so 8 years?
Okay, yeah.
20...
I'm going to tell you a secret.
I love secrets. Can we come in? They've been standing in your doorway, kind of hovering.
Sure, come in.
And they kind of like try to both squeeze through your tiny hovel door at the same time.
There is... How should I put this? There's no use believing in the gods. There's no use. There's many better things you can believe in, like alcohol, like mead. This is
Mead.
very important, yeah. I don't believe in the gods.
You don't
I'm...
believe it.
No. I
But
don't.
then what do you believe in?
Myself.
But
Listen.
that's
listen.
silly. You're not a god.
Gods like to see an atheist around, kid. It gives them something to aim at.
An atheist who?
Oh god, I need to get out of this valley.
The two kids kind of look at each other in a strange, questionable way. Like maybe you're losing your mind? And
I've got a great idea.
okay. We get to come with you.
No,
Oh.
that would be a terrible idea. What I need is for you to help me pack.
Pack.
Yes.
But you don't even have that much stuff.
There are 2 barrels of mead.
Yeah, the clan's mead.
We're traveling for the clan.
Oh. Oh.
Ah.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to watch over it for everybody else.
Oh, that's so smart and nice. She's so nice.
I'm so nice. I need you to go distract everybody.
Like,
so I can pack.
are they bothering you?
You have no idea.
Okay, well, how do we do that?
You're like, what, 8? Go throw rocks at somebody. I don't know.
Well, okay. The little boy's like, done. Done. I've been waiting on an adult to tell me to throw rocks at somebody for years.
Maybe a snowball.
Oh. Can
And
it be
don't
an
hit
ice
an old
ball?
person. Don't hit an old person. I will never.
And he kind of like kicks the ground as he storms out. The little girl goes, well, what can I do?
What do you mean, what can you do? Go throw rocks at somebody.
But I don't like to throw rocks.
We all do things we don't like to sometimes, kid.
I'm smarter than him. What else can I do?
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Another secret?
So many secrets.
Wait, are they secrets if you tell them?
The minute you think you're smarter than somebody just because they're better at something you think is less important, you become very dumb.
Wow. So I'm still smarter than him?
I never said that.
Well, I'll prove it to you. I'll cause such a distraction that you'll be able to pack with nobody bothering you.
That would be fantastic.
I promise.
All right. But just because you do things differently from your brother doesn't make you better.
Okay.
Remember that.
Okay.
Don't remember your stupid god stories. Just remember that.
Yeah, those stupid god stories.
Exactly.
It's like the first time you say a bad word.
You wait until I'm gone, and then you tell everybody what I said.
The stupid god.
It's funny.
It's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go cause a distraction now. And she like bolts out of your shack, and in and around the corner. As the camera follows, those of you that are still in the center of town, going about your business, stealing soup, whatever it is, you see? No, you don't. No, you don't. You can roll to see if you'd like. I'm gonna roll. Oh, no. Yeah. You can roll to see if you'd like. If not, and you think that you're busy and wouldn't even notice, go for it.
I love seeing things.
Yeah, you see things. That's kind of in your description. I'm also going to rearrange everybody now.
I'm going to
Sorry.
use my awareness.
A 22. Okay, that definitely meets the daunting task that I was going to set. So you need to roll between a 15 to a 19. Perfect for success. Okay, you see it. You said yours was, how much, Kika? 22. 22. Okay. If your grit's not already down.
19.
Okay.
Nice.
So here's what's up. Anybody that rolled between a 15 to a 19 manages to see that one of the twins, the little fiery-haired twins that putter about town, has walked over to the barrel of mead and is popped the cork out the back end, and it's now pouring onto the ice.
No.
It is now
Oh, no.
spewing onto the ice. One of the two. And,
Minus 1 day, minus another day.
yeah, it's just like
Dagny's going to pull out her mug and then just like run to the towards the gang.
it doesn't take very long because it's coming out of one of the holes. As
Then takes out her wineskin to fill it with me too.
yeah, you keep trying to fill it, and she goes, ha ha, and she kind of like backs up and she's snickering. You don't know what she thinks is funny, but something is very funny.
Adis just grabs her by the scruff.
Ow, what? I was supposed to cause a distraction.
And she just like spins her around and is just like right in her face. Just
I just was supposed to cause a distraction so the packing could happen without just people. And she kind of like stutters.
and who told you to cause a distraction?
No one.
I mean, I believe her. I mean, like,
You.
nothing tells me
This is a one-on-one conversation. You're not involved.
excuse me, and she just like puts her whole head underneath.
Oh,
Claim,
and it was-
claim the mead. Claim the mead.
yeah. There's still mead pouring out on the ground. Nobody's corked it yet. There's still mead spilling out all over this cold snow. This kid, when she sees that happen, and Dagny like really like huddles under, she just breaks. The dam's let loose, and her poor little tears are freezing on her face. And she's like, it was. I just wanted Gudrun to be able to pack without anybody bothering her.
I put the cork back in with deer blood still on my hand.
Point. It has definitely spilled at least half the keg out.
Well, good job.
Did I do
You
okay?
were distracted.
Yeah.
Did Gundren pack?
You see Gudrun starting to come around the corner with the obvious aim of taking the mead barrel.
Adis just like
Sees the
Stare.
mess. And it's just like, oh my god, child, what did you do?
It's a distraction. She
Ada?
gestures.
Adis
I
pulls
mean,
the
Who
child
told you to
closer.
make a distraction?
I
I
walk
mean-
back to my deer.
She did a great job. I mean, I was totally distracted.
The little girl still in your hands, like looks at you as you were saying whatever you were saying, Kika.
Adis pulls her closer and says, "The only person who benefits from Gundren's plans is Gundren." I'm sorry, did I do the name wrong? Sorry, my brain is sort of all over the place. Did I do the name right, or was it wrong?
Gudrun.
Gudrun.
It's
Gudrun.
there's no extra N. G-U-D.
Sorry.
G-U-D-R-U-N. Mhm.
Yes,
Good.
thank you. Gundren.
It's so nice when it comes out of your mouth. And the little girl again, she's kind of all teary-eyed, and she's like, "I'm sorry. I just wanted to help and make sure that somebody was there to tell your story when you go on your big adventure."
The next time I say to just throw rocks.
But I don't like rocks.
Oh.
It's about that time that you hear somebody on the other side of the village go, "Ow!"
I
Then
think
I do believe that's for you. Do take care of it.
Me?
Yes.
I don't know. And she's reaching down and taking up handfuls of the snow that the mead was in and just, I don't.
Just all clean up our own messes.
I'm cleaning up a mess.
Can I have meat snow?
No.
Oh.
If a child is causing a problem, I don't think you should automatically blame me.
But you told me to do it.
No one likes a tattletale.
Oh.
No one likes an instigator either.
I instigated nothing.
But it's necessary. Oh wait, I got philosophical again.
One
Right.
of the elders comes sauntering over, and by saunter I mean hobble, through the snow, their horn empty. This elderly gentleman, he has big gray beard and hunched back, and he comes kind of wandering over. Excuse me, pardon me, as he tries to walk up to the tap, and he flips it. But where's the meat?
Did you know that water is very good for you?
Buh.
And you can melt the snow and go away. The
Here,
mead
Grandpa, have some wheat meat.
Is, the mead is gone.
So he takes the wheat mead, and he goes, "Fine," and he grabs her cup and he hobbles away.
Sorry.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And he hobbles away.
See, was that hard to be nice to somebody? I mean, all I did was just hand him a cup of mead.
He growls as he walks out.
You're welcome!
And on that note, the camera kind of pans out on this moment, we'll call it, where it seems that potentially the five have identified themselves, though there seems to be question as to whether or not they will really come through. And as the day goes by, Frigg works diligently on skinning, cleaning, and preparing what little meat comes off of this dough. And we kind of cut to her finishing some things off, as we did have a request for some eyeballs. Yeah, I'm gonna let you two take it away. Does Frigg do this often? Clean, prep the deer? Yeah, for the and the meat for the... Yeah.
Anything I hunt, I clean and prep, and everything gets used in some way.
Ada's just like awkwardly like walks up, kind of maybe like almost like behind Frigg, and just says, "Can I have your eyes? Your eyes. Your."
I turn my head and look at you. You have my eyes on you?
No, to feed to Hamlig.
You can't have my eyes, but you can have hers.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
You brought it, so I thought it was all... Okay.
This is for everyone.
But does everyone include Hamlik, the raven?
I grab the eyes off the table. I hold them out. Everyone.
Okay. She just like snatches them quickly and like shuffles on out.
You would notice BC looked a little disappointed that he didn't get the eyeballs.
Aww.
But he got the tongue.
That's true. BC can also eat other things.
Yes.
Which there is usually plenty of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adis will shuffle on back towards her hut to find her raven neighbor and try to coax them down to feed him.
They keep within the area, the bird. Is there like a place you usually meet? Yeah, so you head kind of out to this location.
He probably just like hangs out in the tree that's closest to her hut.
This is an special tree. It's the only one that you know of in this valley of its kind. It's gnarled, old, just outside of the village kind of area proper. With the snow on it, it seems to lack any purpose of color. Dark gray, gnarled bark and white snow give a feeling of emptiness almost as you wait. When you arrive, the bird is not there, but it doesn't... Is there a call that you usually put out or anything that you do, or you just wait?
I think she like just screams Hamlig's name.
The shout rings out in the afternoon, and you wait, not very long in fact, maybe a full minute, before you hear the caw of a familiar friend. Or acquaintance, I don't know what you consider each other, as it comes flying, circling of course a couple times first, which is normal, before landing on this exact tree, on the exact branch that you meet quite frequently, in fact. It sidesteps out to the edge of a branch which kind of dips down and twists in an odd way so that it is within your reach, even as tall as you are. And it kind of sits there, bobbing its head a little bit, waiting on your first action.
She sort of takes one of the eyeballs. Like, it's probably still has blood on it, and blood's probably gotten like all over her fingers.
Yeah, it's cold now and coagulated.
Yeah, but she doesn't really seem to mind it that much. But she holds one out to Hamlig to take, but she's never gotten him to like eat from her hand before, but she always tries.
Sure, yeah. Would you like to roll to see if they will for the first time?
Yes.
This could be a cool roll. This is, if they've never done it before, I am gonna say this is a daunting task. It will be a 15 to a 19 again.
Okay.
There's always the fear of kind of spooking the creature.
I'm guessing this would be kind of like an influence, right?
Yeah, I'll take an influence on this. Yeah, you're trying to influence the creature. I'll take, yeah, that's a, yep.
So I just get a +3 on this, but...
Okay, d20 plus 3.
I got 15 plus 3, 18.
Made it. Nothing special really happens, in terms of, like, additional benefits to you, but, yeah. But in this case, for the first time, you reach up with this freshly plucked eyeball, and the camera zooms in on this kind of moment between you and it as its beak gets ever closer to this small item in your hand, and they take it. You can feel just the edge of the beak brush your finger, knowing how sharp and cutthroat it could possibly be. And the eyeball rips free of your fingers, leaving nothing but sticky behind. And there is a moment as it simply like pecks at it and then swallows it whole. It's a rather large raven.
I'm very happy.
Yes.
Adis is just like grinning as she like then produces the second one to hold up to the raven, and as she normally does, she starts telling the raven about what's going on in her life, sort of like one would tell a friend.
Do you share that you're leaving?
I think she does. She first goes over. She doesn't talk about her visions, but she does talk about the Jarl's plans, the things with the blood ravens, and then she finally comes around to. And I think I'm going to be going ahead with them, so won't be able to stay here to feed you if you are staying, though I wouldn't really recommend it.
You again outstretch your hand as you share this information with the creature, and it kind of flaps its wings a little bit this time, almost in a detesting whatever it is that you say. But again, it reaches out ever slowly now for the second time and plucks it from you, swallowing the eyeball whole. And it pauses for a moment, turns its head so it can really see you out of its eye.
And as it pauses, Adis just like pulls her hand back and like licks the blood from her fingers quickly.
Do you stay or do you go?
I think she stays a little bit, lingering. Birds typically will share meals with like people they see as like really close, like in like familial groups. So like Adis is kind of like showing through this like licking of her fingers how like that they're sharing food and that she views Hemleg as almost family.
The raven watches out of a deep, tiny black eye, and its head kind of tips and turns, and as you finish licking your fingers clean, when you are done, the bird, as usual, goes to take flight. But this time, instead of soaring into the sky and away until your next feeding, it loops overhead and spirals down to your shoulder. It sits there for a second. It is heavy and weighted. And if you choose to look over to really take the creature in, which, like I said, is rather large on your frame, which you mentioned was kind of, gangly and thin, you'll notice that on its underside, where kind of its lighter tufts of feather near its legs and then kind of into its little feetses are, it seems to have scars and scratches, wear and tear, as if it has been in a multitude of fights with other birds, specifically. Mere guessing. It has survived, and it seems to fly just fine, but it is a worn creature. It has seen things that you probably can't imagine.
After seeing this, Adis pulls up one of her sleeves, just like all like the layers of fabric she has, to reveal a really old scar on her arm that looks like a really nasty animal bite from ages ago.
Yeah, it bobs, noting this kind of connection, I guess.
And then she just lifts that hand up and gently scratches the raven, like, on the neck.
It actually allows its neck to poof a little bit so you can really get in there. It does let out a blood-curdling and spine-tingling kind of screech in enjoyment, but to make the average person a little unweary. Thank you for that subscription. And yeah, you are able to, if you would like, rejoin the clan, and it will go with you. And just as the day is coming to a close, the days, of course, are short and the nights are long. The good news is the fire burns, and fresh meat is ready. And as this day comes to a close, everybody shares in the hard work of Frigg and Dagny. What little bit of mead is left in one barrel. And it is a quiet night around the fire. A new member has joined the clan. And the next morning comes far too quickly, as a second horn is blown. It rings out down the valley.
You just hear from the direction of Gudrun's hut. Why?
And slowly everybody gathers, knowing that it is time for five to step forward, and for a important and potentially life-changing journey to take place for this clan. The Jarl once again out front, waiting on everyone as the town hall is called. The Jarl waits on everybody to gather, the elderly included, taking their times, not rushing them. And the Jarl greets you all and says, "I slept much better this eve. I hope you all did too. It may still be cold, but even after yesterday's adventure," she kind of underplays the word as she looks to the two twins that cause problems. Eyes all of you with the mead situation, but takes you all in and says, "After a fine meal, warm mead, and good company, today is a day where five must come forward. My mother, the founding Jarl of this clan, founded this clan because not all of us had a home. She did not. Many of you did not. Eyes, Dagny. Down the line, one at a time, every person knowing every individual story of the 32 people that remain in your clan. But she also told me that as much as this place has meant to the establishment of that clan, that no territory is more important than the people that inhabit it. It is time for me to step back and allow five to rise. We've lost one of our Vikings. Who will it be? The 5 to step forward. I ask you, enter the circle nearest the fire.
Adis immediately like walks over in her like really stiff, awkward walk, and like when she steps into the circle, she points at Heimdall and says, "To here."
He says, "Our seer."
I was gonna say, my connection lost as soon as they mentioned their mother. Frigg squeezed Disa's shoulder and started slowly walking up.
Our seer, our tracker.
I think before Frigg leaves, I think Disa like grabs her hand and she'll step forward as well. Just kind of inhale.
And our carpenter. 3 of 5.
Dagny is going to start kind of strutting towards the circle. And where's Gundren in relation? I figured as much. So she's just going to stride proudly into the circle and strike a pose.
A bold move, and the Jarl smiles. And our great berserker, the lover of the squirrel. And he says, and one more.
Oh, I'm bringing my raven, that's 5.
He smiles and he says, I see, a new member of the clan. Interesting choice. She nods at you. Considering the fact it's a raven. He says, but...
Reliable.
Again, she almost snickers. Your sense of humor has never failed to amuse her. But, nonetheless, it seems to need a home. One that it looks like it has found.
From the back of the crowd, you hear, okay, fine. Fine. And you just see pushing through, and Gudrun, in addition to her normal clothing, which is, leather pants, boots, leather top, normal with some furs, she has now added a traveling cloak that is extremely fancy. It is Roman, and it is green with the gold borders. So she has that. She's strapped on all of her pouches. She has a suspiciously large pack with her that may or may not smell like honey.
If you don't have any, make it. And the Jarl says, then it is so. She looks at the 5 of you lined up in front of your clan. For the first time, you are not staring at the Jarl, but you stand next to the Jarl. The 5 of them have stepped up for all of us. We will leave here, this valley, in a month and a half time, once the snow has melted away and the ground is more solid for our trudging. Everything that you cannot carry on your person stays. There's a rising from the general crowd, mutters. A few of the elderly look concerned. The Jarl says, we will be fine until this point. I have been made aware of such. We will head to the coast, and when we arrive, our clan will set sail on the North Sea to something new. A new home. But we cannot do it without their help. It is time for me to brief them on their mission. The clan is dismissed to daily activity. I suggest, if these are your loved ones, you wish them a fond and welcoming journey. If they are not, I bid you do the same. She looks to all 5 of you and she says, please, my tent. We have much to discuss. And she gestures.
Follows.
Yep.
We all go in.
And you all go. There are a few
Yeah.
mutters from the general crowd. And
Gudrun walks as she walks by the two kids.
they look happy and then they remember they're in trouble. Oh, right. And as you enter the tent, you may have never been in the Jarl's tent, is a large table in the middle where they have clearly been mapping and planning. There's a lot going on there. A very humble sleeping rack and their armor laid in a corner. There's not much in this room. And she gestures for each of you to stand around the table. And she says, my mother was an extremely smart woman. She made plans long before I ever stepped into this role. She eyes Frigg. My mother's smart decisions have put us in a advantageous place. One that allows us to have sure footing ahead of the Grim Ravens. Along your journey west, I am unsure what it is that you will encounter. He says, but I can tell you this. My mother was a friend to all. It was the basis of our clan. Which means that upon your journeys, her name and our clan's name may bid you favor and haven along the way. He says, there is one group in particular. On foot, it may take you a few weeks. But the clan is the white... what did I call them? Oh no, I lost their name. Hang on. White, what are they? He says, they call themselves the White Spears. They lie west, and they are a significantly larger clan than us. This may be an ideal place to, say, gain lodging and make friends. We will have to pass through their territory. I suggest you assure that we are set to do so. Heimdall's wolves makes friends, not enemies. So I encourage you to keep that in mind as you all journey forward. Do you have questions for me? How can I assist you?
Is there anything that you haven't told the rest of the clan that we need to know about this danger?
She says, it is not mine to tell. My mother, as I said, put things in place so that there would be success had for all of us. It was unknown to me that she had many spies for the clan out in the world. And they have helped us know what the oncoming threat could possibly be. What I can tell you is that the Grim Ravens, they do not take prisoners. And the ones that they do are used as slave labor. They keep the strongest and they kill everything else in their path.
How long do you think we can outrun them?
Not long.
The Jarl looks to Frigg. Frigg knows better than any of us.
They're fast, strong. They're smart. They're not coming until the wall melts. But The only real advantage we have is that we know that they're coming for sure. And we can leave before then.
I could not have asked for a better and more equipped representatives from our clan. You will be given a wagon and a single horse. You know that we are a humble clan. But if you can gather along the way anything of value, weapons, armor, gold forbid, we would be significantly more well-equipped. And our travels to a new place will have a foundation for a new future. I cannot tell you how to do this, so I will not try. I can only tell you that this is what the clan needs.
Very well.
Says, I have a feeling over the next 3 months, all of you will have plenty of time to share stories, your truths, but hold each other close. We are a clan for a reason.
Do we even know which direction you want us to go?
She points at the table, and she kind of shows a couple options. She says, there is the long way around and the short way. But, as the gods would see fit, the short way is... And you watch as the finger kind of trails to this empty, dark spot on the map. It is through a forest that lets out the other side of the mountain range, but those woods do not belong to us. Or to any human. Those are the gods' woods. Those who enter there do not return.
So they belong to no one. Got it.
Once again, the Jarl says, if you so see fit to travel this way, I hope that your faith is strong.
They are counting on us, you know.
How about I leave you? Here, in the quiet of my tent. This is the map from here to the coast, and they point kind of along. For those of you at home, this would be kind of along what we would consider Norway today, along the Norwegian coastline on the western side. Is on the kind of west of the map, and you can see a couple, you know, like I said, hashed out lines and drawings. It's not a very good map, but it is a general idea. And the Jarl says, I will give you anything and everything that I can to help in a successful journey.
I would like to know, GM. I am very well traveled.
You are.
Do I see either any other paths that they don't know about?
Oh, that they haven't really thought through?
That they haven't thought through?
Okay. This is
Have
role-based.
I actually been through the Godswood before?
No, you've probably never been through... Not this God's Wood.
Okay.
Maybe you may have been through other people's claims of a God's Woods. These happen all the time. It's a mysticism that's laid on dark forest where evil things thrive. Where fairy tales are written and nightmares are spawned. But you've traveled through dark woods before. Who's to say that these belong to the gods?
But I would like to know if there is something that they haven't considered that I would know about.
Path.
Most of these people have never been out of this valley.
It's true, and you did come into this valley.
I did.
You did. So yeah, I can let you. This is gonna be some kind of mind roll. I would take. Let's see. Well, actually, you could do a survival. Potentially, survival's gonna tell you a little bit more of like what might be the best way so you don't die. But if you want to know if there are like other outposts or things that maybe you saw coming into the valley over 9 months ago, I would say that that's more a tactics or some kind of intellect check.
So I have legendarily awful rolls, so no matter what I choose, it's going to be a 1 most likely.
Okay.
I have a +4 to survival.
Okay, let's roll it that way then. You at least will know the best way to not die, which seems appropriate.
And I also have a +4 to tactics, so
Okay.
I have both. Wait, is my mind the thing I'm... That's will.
Yeah.
I don't remember how this works with the whole shielding thing.
Yes, so survivor would be will. So if it's a shield, you get to roll twice, because that's your specialty, and you take the higher number. So it's kind of like having advantage.
Oh, okay. I forgot to put 2 shields, but I only have 1 on there. But it wouldn't be in survival anyway, I don't think.
Okay.
Given the character.
So you would take your...
to choose that now just to make it easier.
Right, yeah. So you would take your will score plus whatever flags you have in survival and add it to your d20.
So roll 1d20 + 4.
Okay.
Oh,
this won't be as hard of a roll because you've already come through here once.
Helps if I type the command right.
Yes. Sometimes. Only sometimes.
Maybe.
Thanks, roll 20. Haha.
Oh!
Hey.
Hot dog!
Wow, hot damn.
Hot damn!
That's the highest Kelly's ever rolled.
Holy cow! An 18. Well, you only needed a 15 to a 19, so you got a 22, which is over. So good news. You two can detract a little from your grit as you get ready to leave. You think back and you kind of simmer and you're thinking back on when you came through 9 months ago. You're probably skunk drunk. But there are a couple things along the way, and you do know that there potentially could be another route. It's true. This God's Woods does seem to be the easiest way out of the valley. There is a cavern, you remember seeing, that cuts through the mountain, which is an option. The kind of like other side of this valley that you could go through. And there is a small path that most don't know about because it's kind of dangerous. It actually cuts through the upper areas of the mountain, but there's an outpost, an unmanned outpost that oftentimes gets used along the way that can be a good safe haven as well.
All right, I would pass that information along, probably sarcastically, but I would let them know, that I had seen both of these paths, that we do have alternates, not just the 2 that were laid before us. And personally, the outpost provides a place that we can stop and shelter. And the path is not well known, meaning we probably won't run into anybody else.
Also means that hunting around it will be a little bit easier as there's
More
not
game.
as many people.
It'll be a little different game. In the mountains themselves, you'll be eating goat, but it's there. And hope that there's no wildcats around.
Or trolls.
Or trolls. That's
Or
weird.
RUSs.
Or yeah. Or all the horrible things that could possibly be in the mountains that you're talking about passing through. But it is laid out and you can kind of see it. Again, this is a hand-drawn kind of crude map, but
Knowing what I know about the area, does that seem like it's probably the best idea?
You came out of the opposing mountain of this valley, right? Mm-hmm. On the 2 sides, the eastern mountains, where where the Grim Ravens are held up. If the mountains are kind of similar on either side, which seems likely for this valley, it is going to be rough terrain the whole way, through the other side, if it's anything like what you experienced. And there are a few things to be aware of, things like bears. There will be plenty of goat to eat. And that in this area, the Grim Ravens aren't the only people that live in this mountain range and valley.
Question. Just to make sure I got the information from the Jarl correct earlier.
Yeah.
we're scouting out a way for the others to get north too, right?
Correct. You are setting a path for the rest of the clan. Got you, Eris. What I said was that if the mountains on either side of the valley are similar compared to the one you came out of, that the terrain would be pretty rough. You know what kind of wildlife and game would be there, but you have things to worry about like bears, snow leopards, or like large cats of some kind, cougars, and that these are not the only clans. The two of you are not the only clans in the area, and there are scary things, or can be scary things. But yes, Dagny, there is, you're right. You're making a way for the clan.
Would I know much about the Gods' Woods?
You can roll a lore. This is a big one. Because I can tell you that, but this is a lore.
Well, I mean, I have +5 in lore.
Perfect! Well, then it should be the thing you roll.
I also have, like, I can also use a grit because I've been, like, getting that lowered a lot, so...
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I would, because this will be our first extreme roll, which means you have to get to 20 to 24.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that grit.
To just actually know this information. So 1 grit will drop it down from an extreme roll to a daunting roll, so now you need 15 to 19.
And I have +5, so I'm feeling pretty good about this.
You can do this, you can do this. I'm feeling good for you.
Ooh, that's a 17 total.
A 17 total. You made it. Right smack dab in the middle. God's Woods, as you would know, they happen in various places. These God's Woods nearby, you have set in the corner of your visions and dreams for a long time. It is a powerful place, one that has a lot of energy, that you are fully aware of, just in terms of just the general surrounding. It is true that people that go into the God's Woods do not come out. It is said that those that enter offer themselves as an immediate sacrifice to the gods. It is their territory, their lands, and the things that thrive there come from a dark place and a dark-seated place. Sometimes the presence of the gods can warp our reality. And this potentially could be one of those places, sitting at just the peak between the two mountain ranges as the single exit out of this valley. Not going through the mountains.
If we were to venture near the God's Wood, I could enter myself and perhaps see if some sort of deal could be made with the gods to allow for safe passage for our clan.
There is a somewhat audible snort from Gudrun as she shakes her head.
Or we could just offer her a sacrifice.
I don't think that would make them very happy.
Well,
We could
mean-
take a different path that doesn't take us through the God's Wood.
I mean, like the one I offered with the outpost.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, we do have a clan to move. I mean, I'm seeing kind of pros, cons, and all sorts of situations here. Part of it, the reason... Okay, so, the way I see it is that, okay, the long way is the safe way, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
We've got about, what, a month and a half before the clan wants to head out. What if we're delayed? And the thaw happens, or the thaw even happens early, and then we have the Grim Ravens just barreling down the mountain and killing everything. So, the way I look at it is that there's a risk right there that they're going to go for the path where the rest of the clan is likely to go, where everyone's likely to go through the easy way. However, if they don't want to go through the God's Woods, they're probably not going to go following after us. So that's also a possibility. But at the same time, we're going to have to worry about, the clan going through a big scary place full of monsters. And gods. And god monsters. So, I'm just saying.
Those of you that truly believe in the gods and worship them know that the gods are neutral, not good or bad, and that gods in written or in oral history are said to sometimes be appeased by the mortals that serve them. That they can be reasoned with, but often at great cost.
I already am one that belongs to the gods, so I believe I could act as an ambassador and perhaps commune with them and request safe passage through the woods, and I'm quite certain that the Blood Ravens might... It would be logical of them to assume that we would avoid those woods and would be less likely to think of looking for us that way.
Frigg, you would know they are very superstitious, the Grim Ravens.
It would also be logical to assume that they wouldn't know about the past that none of you knew about. Because no one ever leaves here.
Are you scared?
No.
Here's the thing.
I'm doing the job that they gave me.
Gudrun has a point.
Other path.
The Grim Ravens don't know about this path, or if they do, it's less likely. We also have to take an entire village worth of people through this a month or more after we go through ourselves. While the gods might favor you, Idis, or us as a whole, they might not favor everyone in our village the same way. We have to look out for all.
The mountain might take them a little longer, but with fewer people knowing about it, they'd be safer.
Disa, you're quiet. You're a very practical person. What do you think?
I agree with the safer route. We can probably negate the length that it would take by making sure we push ourselves further. Since it's only us and we are able-bodied, we can probably make that time back without having to unduly risk our little caravan here. I mean, we do know good if we don't come back.
But who's to say that way is safer? Mountains themselves are difficult to pass. There's unseen dangers. There's creatures there that we don't know about. We are unfamiliar with the terrain. We are unfamiliar with tracking.
It is also winter.
It is also winter. There is concerns of snowfalls and other such things. Through the woods, we could possibly have the gods themselves protect us directly. And
what do you see? You're a seer, right? What do you see?
Would you like
do you want me
to have a vision?
Would you like me to attempt a vision now?
I don't see why not.
It would. I would definitely weigh what you saw in there. If the gods can't enlighten you, give any sort of hint of what's best, I think you should.
Gudrun looks, I wouldn't say annoyed is the best word, because it's not quite strong enough. She almost looks about as close as any of you have actually seen her to angry, which is interesting because she doesn't really show a lot of emotion. But, she says, so I think it's clear that, my place here is for numbers only. And, not to actually be listened to as the only one of you who's actually traveled out. Please, listen to the moving pictures. I don't comprehend why I'm even asked to be going.
We're gonna need you see like these just get agitated. She's been kind of like fidgeting with like this little wooden like carving, and she's like, we're gonna need more than just our will. We're gonna need the gods to help us with this. We can't just do it on our own.
Friend, we do everything on our own. The sooner you figure that out, the easier your life is going to be. But please, please, let superstition guide you.
The gods brought back my sister. I believe in them.
Counterpoint, your sister's a very good tracker.
Thank you. I
Either
think that
way.
might be the nicest thing I've ever heard you say, Gudrun.
Accidental compliment.
So, do
Hi.
you force a vision?
I want to, but Adis probably wouldn't feel very comfortable doing that with Gudrun there.
Oh, don't worry. I was about to have her storm out dramatically,
Perfect.
even though she can't slam a tent flap, which is
Yeah.
very upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
But,
the tip flap, like.
Yeah, but she leaves and she goes, let me know when you've made my next decision for me. And she leaves out. She leaves the tent.
You know, she's not acting very clan-like.
No.
She did say something nice about me, though. I'm gonna point that
True.
out.
You would know that. I would think you would know that they come and go. Gudrun. They showed up right before the winter, and have stayed longer than they've ever stayed with the clan before. They come and go. Adis.
Like, Adis is gonna say, just because people don't agree with her doesn't mean we're making decisions for her. We're having discussions and trying to figure out what we want to do and the best course of action, and just
Thing I've learned is that fate has a way. Whether it's through death or life, destruction or creation, it has a way.
I hope fate has a way to bless me with more patience soon.
I hear you that I hear you there. I mean, took everything in me not to rage right there and then and there.
I just hope that the gods have patience for her.
The second Gudrun left, Adis had like taken out like a mortar and pestle and has like taken out various like bits of like herbs and things from various pouches and put them into you know, in the mortar and starts grinding them into like a fine powder. It says, could one of you get a small fire started, please?
Dagny pulls out her flint and steel and just kind of goes at it.
There
Yeah.
would be something in here, even maybe a small pot or something that you could start, like a cauldron pot. There would be something in here you could put a fire in.
And she's just watching everything Adis is doing with absolute fascination. So,
Now, once the fire's going, Adis crouches down beside it and starts chanting softly to herself, like under her breath. You can't really make out what she's saying. And occasionally reaches into a pouch and tosses something into the fire, and the flames will flare. Occasionally it'll be like a flare of green or blue. as she's chanting, and she's sort of like chanting like more forcefully, but still keeping it very quiet as she closes her eyes and goes through this ritual. Eventually, she takes a handful of these herbs and tosses them in the fire and leans over the flames and just sharply inhales. And that is how she induces her vision.
Well, it's a good thing, too, because we just got our Fate of the Gods bar filled.
Ooh.
Just
Yay.
in time. And as you take a deep inhale, it fills your nostrils with a potent kind of sweet herb. And you all watch. Oh my gosh, more bits! Alright, we're gonna have to make this good here at the very end of
Wow.
tonight. More bits. Thank you all so much.
Oh my gosh.
So, as you watch, maybe you've never seen this before, a vision induced, maybe you have, but, Aces' head, like, snatches backwards. Their eyes roll into the back of their head, and their body begins to kind of seize.
Imagine, like, as her head snaps back, her whole body arcs.
Yes, exactly. And the body stays in this crooked way. It's probably sends chills up all of your spines. Remind me again exactly what it is that you want out of this vision. And then we're going to roll for it.
I think it would be guidance on... I think this would be very much guided by Adis's thoughts and intentions. So I think she would specifically be trying to figure out if the clan would be... If there was something like if there was something the clan could do to get safe passage through the God's Woods.
Sure. Okay. This will be insight, I believe, is what we talked about, is your will. This is a extreme roll. Actually, yeah, this is an extreme roll. We're not at epic level yet. I'll save my epics for later.
Oof.
But this is an extreme roll, 20 to 24.
Crit.
Okay, we'll move it down to a 15 to a 19. That is a daunting task as you use another grit. In this game, you have a grit threshold, and once you reach that threshold, things happen. In addition to other things that are about to happen.
Yeah. Good thing I have insight as a specialty.
Yep, specialty, so
So-
roll twice, take the higher, and then let us know what you get.
Well, that first one was a 2, so...
Good thing we're not using that one.
Okay, that is a 19 plus 4.
Okay, so 23. Beautiful. That puts you at 4 over. So go ahead and take your grit down 2 again. Kind of clears that out. Very nicely done. And the your body seizes and kind of arches backwards and begins to shake a little bit. I wouldn't say it's anything like extreme, but there's just a little tremor of the body as you all watch. For all of you, it takes moments, seconds. For the seer, you see yourself standing on the edge of a wood, dark, grim. Around it, every 10 feet, are a stone. The God's Woods has a literal barrier all the way around it, enclosing whatever it is that is here. In the shadows of the dense tree line stands a figure, a wolf. Its eyes glimmer and glow at you, and though it does not open its mouth to speak, as it is a wolf, it does speak to you. And it simply says, "Only those worthy pass through our woods. What do you seek here, seer?"
Can Adis respond?
You're definitely welcome to. More donations, goodness, gang.
Adis's hand sort of like goes up to pull the wolf skin that she always wears tighter around herself, but she kind of stops herself because she doesn't want to draw attention to it while she's right in front of a wolf.
Yeah.
And she straightens, takes one step forward and says, I belong to the gods. I've always known this. But this clan, amongst whom I've made my home, has taken good care of me and has watched over that which belongs to you. I would do what I can to repay this kindness, and I would do it whilst for them in the gods' names.
The wolf kind of paces the tree line a little bit, never stepping over the circle of stones as you say this, and it stops and says, anyone can pass through the gods' woods. It is not us who haunt this place.
What haunts it?
The god stops and says, that I cannot tell you. There are other ways around. And there's a moment where, again, you flash, you guys watch as her body twist ever more. 10 seconds into this, it almost like arches as you hear bone almost crack and muscle grind. And you see the path that the Skald has given you up and through the mountains. It is a deadly one, though much faster. There is even places to camp, overhangs, and you see this small outpost that was told to you, and it seems relatively abandoned, but the mountains are cold and the wind whips. And it cuts back once again to the wolf. This time you are closer to the woods. Your toes touch the edge of one of the stones, and the wolf is there. You can feel its hot breath, its teeth. It is huge. And the wolf, it simply says to you, glaring at you with yellow eyes, a path is just a path. However you choose to journey forth, there will be trials. There is no one that is safer for your clan, for your clan is not safe. Do you trail the mountains, which is ridden with cold and rock? Or do you bring your clan to the gods and try to heal their woods of what ails it? And like that, you snap out of it. The wolf's hot breath, the smell, still lingers in your nostrils. Or maybe that's just the herbs. And you watch as Adis's body almost drops. There's a weakness there, maybe even catching on the table, as the vision ends. And you hear the scream of a woman outside. Maybe you're standing by the mead, Gudrun, refilling it. There's the same grumpy old man with a beard standing there too, waiting for his turn to fill off the little, what is probably the last barrel of mead.
He's gonna be waiting a while.
He's gonna, yeah. And you hear a woman scream from behind you, and a heavy flutter of something. Down from the mountain comes a massive black cloud. It draws ever closer. And as it gets closer and the woman points and screams, you realize this is no cloud This is no smoke. It flutters. Its wings flap. And a massive gathering, a literal murder of ravens, come out of the mountains, and they are headed straight for the village. As the other 4 of you, I'm sure, come running with the scream of a woman, you too see this. As they engulf everything. People run for shelter, maybe you do too, and they flutter about. Today you don't know if the fate of your clan is yours or the gods, but what you do know is that the Grim Ravens have sent their assassins. And you watch as the ravens begin to tear things apart in your camp. And we will do combat for the ravens next week. Because the clan is currently under attack.
Yeah, I was gonna come out with my bow ready.
Yeah. Hundreds of ravens are currently just like swarming the camp. But we'll have to pick up next week because you can thank chat so very much. So much shout out to chat for filling our fate bar right at the end, literally at the absolute perfect storytelling moment to give our seer a vision and a little bit of an oomph in terms of what they saw, and of course the ravens coming out of the mountains, which wasn't in the plans, but guess what? They are now. And I will read, we had a couple shout outs here. Let's see, what did we have for Nat 20 for each of you, including the GM. Great stuff so far. Well, I'll tell you, the cool thing about this system is I don't have to roll. So, and the Nat 20s, we'll figure out a way maybe to give you a shield on something you don't actually have for one round or something. So kind of give you that initiative is what we'll call it. So each of you make a mark. I'll let you call it, but you only get one of them. That'll be our little like house rule, I guess. It says break leg something or at least start it. And this one says bring on the hammer of the gods. So here we are. Clearly, we already have some fans in chat. So that is all for today. I've already gone over. So for all of you that have stuck with us, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the first of what is going to be an epic, a literal epic campaign of proportions. So we'll see. We'll kick off next week with a little combat for funsies' sake. Combat, and this is really cool. We might actually do a montage combat. Montages are something that's actually something you all do together. So we might just do a little montage combat because that'll be fun. And then we'll kick off on a proper journeying as they leave the clan. This will be an interesting one. Everybody coming from different perspectives, different feels, different places. We'll see how everything goes. And we'll go backwards this time. We're going to start with Catherine. Catherine, tell everybody at home who you are and where we can find you when you're not here on Tuesdays. Today's a Tuesday.
Well, my name's Catherine Barsonistas. I run the nerdy food blog, The Gluttonous Geek, and I also have a weekly cooking show called Munchies and Minis. I should be having an episode tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern when I will be making a recipe from Pathfinder, Malmut. It's kind of like a pinwheel omelet in a tortilla. Anyway, it should be delicious. I hope you guys join me, and thank you very much. It's been a great start to the show so far. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Me too. I'm excited to see how things pan out. Like I said, it's I love the dynamic of like, do we believe in the gods? Whose fate belongs to who? I just think it's a really interesting little thing. On that, Eris just fixed it. You read my mind. Yes, I'm very excited. That takes us to Shauna. Shauna, where can we find you when you're not here playing our carpenter?
You can find me Flying Cirrus on Twitter, where I do artwork and post all the games I'm on throughout the week, including also check out Onyx Path, the Steel by Streetlight thing that Kika has been running. It's been amazing, and those are on Mondays.
I've heard good things.
Finale, yeah.
Somebody was mentioning in the Discord just the other day, actually. Can't remember who it was. Anyways, awesome, very cool. We'll have to check that out. And it's so interesting. The carpenter. I have to say, I love the subtlety of like that it's like you're the most grounded of everybody. Like there's just like groundedness to your character as being like literally the person that like works with their hands, you know, like I don't know, I just love it. I love the character so much.
Yeah, she's stuck somewhere between Gunrun and like Adis and stuff like that, as far as like god stuff and like just take care of it on your own.
Yeah, I think there's something cool about that. Just like, well, and I thought it was really like that moment where you chose to follow your sister, or like go with your sister as a. That was also just very cool, like that conversation between family, which I'm sure we'll get more of along the road. Very nice, very nice. And we had a little reveal tonight. I also really liked the moment where you were like, you know, the gods brought my sister back. Thank you very much. Who's been missing. So I just thought it was really cute. Eris, you're up.
Hello, I'm Eris Savad. I played Frigg today. Sorry, my brain's starting to go. I make travel accessories for nerds and really anyone. I also play far too many RPGs, including Coriolis on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, Echoes in the Ether, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and oh gosh, where are these? And Sunday Friends on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, everything's on my Twitter, though, so just go there and you'll find it all. There's too much.
I fixed the link. So now they are clickable because I'm not a total goober. And I actually believe, like I said, the little handy plugin below or whatever is linked to everybody's Twitch page as well. So you can go follow their Twitch page.
Yes. Oh, and you can get a discount on my store because you're watching this now.
It's true.
With Dot Army.
Boop, boop. Be part of that Dart Army. Cool. Kika. Some pretty cool stuff tonight.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be playing this. Yeah, I'll just go into about me. Otherwise, I would go off on like a long tangent, and I don't want to waste everyone's time. But yeah, I'm Kika. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/KikaVion, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Keith. That's twitch.tv/KIKKA. And next Monday, hopefully, for our finale of Season 1 of Seattle by Streetlight. Hopefully there'll be a Season 2 coming up, but it is a fun Chronicles of Darkness mystery game that I've been running a few good friends through. Shauna being one of them. It is my first time really being a storyteller and running any system besides D&D, and my first time running a mystery, and my first time actually running a game in like 2 years, second time in the past 10 years, so it's been an adventure. But yeah, you can find me there, and besides that, just here most Tuesdays.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I feel like somebody in the Discord the other day mentioned your show, so I'm gonna have to go stalk it a little bit, get my eyes on it, because I've heard good things. So definitely check that out, and especially if it's a finale. It's nothing better than a finale, so everybody go show your support.
Also you can get my little 2-player short RPG game that's like half an hour to an hour long. Don't need any dice, very small intimate game about communication, called A Lonely Haunt. It's on itch.io, which is kika.itch.io/a-lonely-haunt.
Cool. And definitely you're welcome to post that link to Kika if you want to drop it in Twitch chat. I'm more than happy to let you do that.
Should I say anything about Adis before?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I don't know if it came across, but Adis is a bit neurodivergent and also has PTSD, and I kind of wanted to like sprinkle that into her character, just, you know, put a little bit of myself in her, and also put in some of my own weird spirituality stuff.
Yeah, I am. One of the things I really love about the Seers as a build, the path is what they're called in North Sea Epilogues, because I was going to have a seer for the clan regardless of whether or not one of you chose it, but I'm really glad that one of the players did. And one of the things that I love is that being a seer, your visions and the things that you see come with a lot of consequences, as one might imagine, and usually they take physical form in some way. So in this case, obviously, I'm leaning more towards kind of, they look a little like a seizure, in terms of the way that they manifest physically, and that over time will have a very long-term effect on the body. And as we if we watch that character get older, we'll have to see how that that degenerative kind of body functionality begins to happen.
That works very well with what I have for her, because in the way I have it like worked out in my head is that she has a lot of like hallucinogenic herbs and stuff, hensbane being one of them, and like those aren't very good for you.
They
Those
are
aren't
not
good for you at all.
They are not. Hey, Lightning Invoker, we're closing things out, but that's okay. You can always catch the VOD right literally here on Twitch right after this, and then it'll get up and over on YouTube as well. It was definitely an interesting episode, and I went way over. I hope the ladies don't hate me. So yeah,
taking up enough time.
No, I love it. Yeah, I too, I love to see it, and I knew I really wanted to start with that vision of like new spring coming. That's actually that vision. I had when I started planning this in a dream. I like saw it like happen, the spinning of like the sun and the moon of passing of time, and I was like, oh, we're gonna start this whole campaign with a giant vision of the because if you didn't have it, the other, you know, my NPC seer was gonna have it. So I knew that was where we were gonna start. So I really like the character. It's very, very interesting, and we clearly got a little nudge of some history between the young Jarl and your, you know, as well, so that's pretty cool. And last but certainly not least, both the cute ginger and cute pupper, as well as our mischievous little scald, Opera Geek. Tell us where we can find you when you're not over here.
I am at the Opera Geek wherever fine beverages are sold, except YouTube and Facebook, where someone took it first. But you can follow me on Twitter at the Opera Geek. I do a lot of announcements there when I'm doing gigs or streaming. And I also have my website, kellybutler.com. You can follow me here on Twitch at the Opera Geek. Yeah, it's Twitch. At the Opera Geek, where I'm currently doing yet another Witcher playthrough. Surprise! Woo! I like the Witcher. And let me see, next week I do start Dragon Age over on Wandering DM, which is hilarious because I've never played the game.
Very nice. It's a big one. We're actually closing out a campaign in 2 weeks here on the Dot Lot.
I've never even played the video game.
Oh. Well, you got some lore. There's some lore there.
Yeah. And yes, the puppers, by the way, Lord Arctic Frost pointed out, because he does follow my channel, the puppers knows the sound of bits on Twitch because he knows that he gets treats.
Oh, we have a new incentive on the Dot Lot.
That's the incentive, one of the incentives on mine. And for anybody that reads my Twitter, today is the 1 year anniversary of the day he got pulled out of the cage at his rescue down in Georgia. So he's have a happy day. But that's me. And and you can also, of course, if you really enjoy bards, which I obviously do, you can buy the College of the Opera on DM's Guild.
Sure can.
And be as dramatic as you want.
Yep. And if you want to hear it in its full dramatic nature, didn't you play that for NXNQ?
I did. I exploded a griffin.
You did, with your voice.
With my voice, which I then gave them an MP3 of one of my performances, and they piped in.
It was so good.
Seems legit.
That's, I guess, a beautiful segue. I'm Dot. You can check me out on the North by Northwest podcast, where we explode griffins with voices. So check that out. There are a lot of other places too.
Bedazzled griffins.
Yeah, it was a bedazzled griffin. I do remember that. I remember David and Tiffany texting me and being like, "You're never going to believe what Kelly did." And I was like, "Here's the thing. I actually probably will."
Bedazzled.
But I'm Dot. You can find me here on Tuesdays, moving forward. We do in 2 weeks have the closeout on that Sunday, as well as a Sunday Fun Day for the closeout of the Dragon Age campaign. But I've got some exciting things happening in other places, like over on Unmade Gaming, where you can check out myself and Eris in our Coriolis, our Dark Sci-Fi Coriolis campaign, which has gotten a little drama. There's some space drama happening between the crew. I was out last week, so they had basically just an RP episode, and Lord hell, when you leave your players to their own demises. And then you can check me out on Saturdays over on my Home Away from Home roll for it for the Silence of Shadows, our VTM campaign. And I'm excited to announce that on Friday, I start a brand new campaign over on Trooper SJP's channel. It is a French Revolution campaign using the new Fate Condensed system. It will be set in the middle of World War II, and we're all, our little crews hiding out in France as a little resistance that is helping to move and protect people, art, and books during the Second World War. So it should be a really interesting little campaign. I got my little librarian and art history character. I'm very excited. And I'm gonna be blonde, so if you want to see Dada's blonde, show up there. Friday night. We'll be there. I think that's it. This campaign, of course, is in its premiere, so we'll be back the same time, same channel next week for the continuation of this. I, again, want to say thank you for all of you that gave bits and tips. That helps me pay my characters. Everything that you give to this channel goes back to the amazing people that come here to tell stories with us. So know that it does not go in vain. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can do so through Patreon, where we do after shows and all kinds of things. We did run a little over, so I probably won't do an after show for the premiere episode, but we will do them throughout the rest of the campaign after each one. So we had a lot of fun tonight, and we all kind of talked at the end, so we'll just count that for this one, and I can let these lovely ladies go. So thank you all. If you want to check the game out, please do go tell Renegade Games that you love the Dot Lot, and you love Dot being on Renegade Games, because that would be awesome, because I love their games. And this is just the next one in the lineup this season of things that we are doing. So go get yourself a copy if you haven't already, because this book is incredible. Those are my words. That's the last thing I have. Thank you all so much for sharing your love. And we're actually going to go raid. It looks like Grant Ellis is currently live. So you know what that means. We have to go take all of our love and give it to Grant, who is currently streaming. Make sure to hang around, throw out a couple compliments, give that love, and let's continue the dice rolling and storytelling. Until we see you all next week. Bye-bye.